Have you ever looked at a beautifully crafted iron gate and wondered, how on earth does raw, industrial metal turn into something like that? Well, today, we're going to dive into the world of custom metal fabrication. We'll pull back the curtain on the whole craft by looking at how one company, Palafox Iron Works, turns a client's vision into a solid reality.
It really all comes down to this one question. It seems kind of like magic, doesn't it? But it's not. We're going to walk through the entire journey, step by step, from just an idea in someone's head to a finished piece of art that's literally built to last a lifetime.
So, what's the real reason people seek out custom ironwork? I mean, what's the driving force? It actually boils down to two really fundamental human desires. We all want to feel secure, and we all love beautiful things.
And this is the key. It's not about choosing one or the other. The real artistry here is blending that rugged strength with elegant style. The goal is a final piece that gives you security and privacy, sure, but also makes your property look absolutely stunning.
So where does a project like this even begin? You might picture a workshop with sparks flying everywhere, right? But nope. It all starts with a simple conversation. It's the client's vision that becomes the blueprint for everything that comes next.
To make that vision a reality, the best in the business offer what they call a turnkey experience. Now what that means is basically one team, just one, handles every single step, from the first sketch to the final bolt being tightened. And the secret sauce that makes it all work? Just flawless communication. It turns what could be a super complex job into a totally stress-free project for you, the client.
Okay, and now we get to the really cool part, the actual fabrication. This is where the idea starts to become a real physical thing, and it's all handled in-house, which is so important for keeping total control over the quality.
The whole thing really happens in 4 key stages. First up is that consultation we talked about, where they figure out the concept. Then comes the in-house fabrication, where they take top-notch raw materials and start building. Step 3 is the professional installation, getting it on site and making sure it's aligned perfectly. And finally, the finishing touch, applying professional-grade coatings that are going to protect that work for years and years.
This quote from a customer really says it all. It just perfectly sums up the result of a process like this. He makes it so clear. This isn't something you grab off a shelf. He doesn't even call it a fence. He calls it a beautiful ironwork of art. That's powerful.
So, after all that work, what are we actually looking at? Let's check out some of the finished products and see what they're all about in the real world. First, you've got these courtyard entries. These are all about making a killer first impression. They have this classic, almost old-world vibe, but they're also doing the heavy lifting for modern security and privacy. Then you move up to the bigger security gates, for driveways and automatic entries. And again, look at that dual purpose. They're there to add a touch of sophistication and elegance, but they're also your property's first line of defense.
And of course, there are fences. But listen, we are not talking about your average backyard fence here. These can be high-security, anti-climb systems that are specifically engineered to be incredibly durable. These things secure thousands of homes.
This brings up a huge question. What material should you use? The source makes a really strong argument for iron, pointing out its superior quality, how long it lasts. It just blows aluminum out of the water in a lot of cases. But here's the kicker. The cost difference is often pretty small. That makes iron a seriously smart long-term investment.
So as we bring this all home, let's just boil it down. What's the promise that's being forged right into the metal itself? What's the core idea here?
Well, first, it's the promise of experience. A company like Palafox started way back in 2004. Think about that. Decades of serving a single community. That builds a level of trust and expertise that you just can't fake. It really speaks to their consistency and quality.
So why does this whole approach matter so much? It's because all these pieces fit together perfectly. It all starts with real customization, making something that actually matches what the client wants. It needs expert craftsmanship for that precision work. It's totally dependent on high-quality materials to make sure it lasts, and it demands flawless execution, getting every little detail right. Then, you balance all that quality with fair pricing. That's the formula right there. That's how you turn an idea into a lasting work of art that's both strong and beautiful.
And that really just leaves us with one final thought. In a world where so much stuff feels disposable, it's worth asking ourselves, when it comes to our own homes, our own sense of security and style, what does built to last really mean to you?